Hello there, game makers, and this is basically a little clone of Flappy Bird, and I will show you how you can actually create this for yourself. So if you are thinking like, hey, I would like to learn Gamemaker, how to use the IDE and make games, then I guess you could start with a very simple project, something like this game here. And this should be kind of easy to copy, and then maybe you get a good game feel how you can actually make your own games. But after this, because sometimes the start is a little bit rough and rocky, but I guess we can do this pretty fast here, and let's say in 20 minutes, and then we are finished with a whole game which, well, made millions. So stay tuned if you want to know how to do this now. This is Up Indie. I am the developer of the indie game Clunky and Office Orc. So if you are new here and you definitely want more, consider subscribing to my channel, because I try to upload every second day or every day a video. And if you like this stuff, please share it, comment some stuff, because then it's showing YouTube this is relevant. Let's go into the game. So basically what we are having here, we're having this bean, bird, whatever guy, and it is just falling. And it appears that, for example, you have a movement, but in the end it is just a little illusion. And then, for example, if I'm pressing my button, it will go up, and if not, gravity catches up, and for example, if it's touching the bottom or the top, or for example one of those pipes, the game restarts. This is basically it, super easy to understand. So what do we need for such a game? First of all, background, which is repeating, easy peasy. Then, well, a sprite, one for flying upwards, one for downwards. Then those pipes here, which are starting from the right side, and then they just move to the left, easy peasy. And then, well, a spawner, which I'm gonna talk in the very end. So here we just put in one little object. It's well, invisible or whatever, and this thing is responsible for spawning, let's say, the pipes like this, like this, like this, in an interval. And this is just basically it. So let's kill all that stuff and make it in use. So the first thing, we just do our little background, put it of course below the instances so we can actually see it. Put in a sprite, as you can see now, here it is, but we want it to repeat, so we go for horizontal tile, and already better. And then of course we go for horizontal speed -2, so we actually have some movement, so we can actually check it out. Play animation, as you can see, it moves to the left. And then, well, we create our object. Let's go for object, not boy, object. Come on, typing is hard as it seems. Pipe 2, and that pipe will be, I don't know, let's go for bottom. And then, well, what do? We just put that first of all in the room so you can actually see it. So here is our pipe, and what is the pipe doing? And this is super easy, so we just give it a speed of, let's say, 2, and the speed must be the same as the speed of the background scrolling, because if you put in different speeds it looks kind of odd. Actually we can do this, so let's go for 1. Then direction, where are you, direction 270. What does that mean? So basically, if you don't know what direction is, this just means, hey, how fast will it move and in what kind of direction is it going. So for example, let's use our paint. So this is direction of 0, this is 90, then 180 is to the left, and of course 270 is downwards. So here we just go for 180 and just let it play, and as you can see, the pipe will go to the left, but the background is faster. Therefore I just said, hey, make it the same speed, or for example, if you're doing some parallax, then maybe you want to do this, but let's keep it at the same speed altogether. And then we are pretty much finished with the pipe. There's nothing more to it. The next thing, which is a little bit more complex, is the player. So object player, we give it a sprite. Let's go with the one of falling down, put that thing into the room. So And what do we want to do with it? So first of all, we need to initialize a few things, but not too many. First of all, we just have a variable which I call force up or force down. You can call it whatever you like. And that thing is just being changed and updated in our step event. So here, what do? We just say, hey, force up is plus equals 0.05. And what do we do with this? Because as you can see now, it will be updated and it will be getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger because it's in the step event. Well, what do? We just update our Y position with it. And here we already have our gravity up. And this is just basically it. We are falling down, as you can see. And bye-bye. The potato, bean, whatever guy is gone. But maybe you want to have some, let's call it action. And therefore we need to have some player input. And how can you do this? There are multiple ways with the keyboard, but we just go for mouse, check, button released. And then what do we need? Device, no, let's go for mouse, check, button released, and then mouse, button, left. And then we just say, hey, have we pressed this mouse button? And to understand this syntax, this just means, hey, this is just checking, hey, have we pressed our mouse button? If yes, it will return 1, and then it is true. And if it's true, it will do something in here, and if not, well, it's not gonna do anything. So we're just checking, hey, have we pressed our mouse button? If yes, what do? We give our force a negative value. Why negative? Well, because we want to go up, and therefore we need to go minus. And for example, we already have our game mechanic of the game done in 7 minutes. As you can see, we're pretty much almost done in this game. Sweet. So this is the easy part. So if you just wanted to know this, that was it. Have a good one. But maybe you want to do a little bit more, and therefore we're just checking, hey, so let's go for some and do some animation. And how can we actually check if we are going up or going down? Well, we can compare our current Y position with our previous Y position. So this is pretty handy. So let's say, for example, we say if, so once again, is our previous position smaller than our current Y? So basically we are falling down. We just say, hey, change our sprite index to our guy descending. And for example, if that is not the case, so we go for else, because this is the great part. You can just pinch in this thing in between, so say else, so this is not true. Then our sprite index is the flying up. So here, bam. And once again, let's check it out. Going up, we're going down. Yay! So this is already looking pretty decent. But maybe you want to say, hey, I want it to be tilting a little bit. So for example, what I want to do, I want it to tilt upwards, something like this, if we're going up and if we're going down. All right, so we can actually do this. So we can introduce another thing which I called angle, a variable. Let's say it's 0, so nothing is happening. But let's say, for example, we are flying downwards, then we give it a value of -15, or for example, if you like 345. And for example, if we are flying upwards, well, we give it an angle of 15, so we're tilting a little bit upwards. So let's check it out again. As you can see, nothing is happening because I didn't apply it. So apply angle. So image image angle is then this extra variable which we are changing here. So once again, we started, as you can see, it's going up and it's going down. Of course, we can refine it a little bit. So here we're going to rush through it. So basically what you could do is to lerp. And what could you do? Well, you could say something like this: image angle is lerping between this kind of value. So this is, I'm gonna rush through this because I guess this is not too important. Now I am having a second variable which are called max angle. This could be maximum of -15 or 15. And then we just say, hey, the angle which we are actually applying is between, well, itself, so the angle which we want to apply, and the max one, and then we go 0.1. And now you will see there will be a smooth tilting between those two. So as you can see, it's like turning around. And of course, if you want to have it faster or slower, you just change this value. So this is just 10%. And then what a lerp is just basically doing, just saying, hey, interpolate a value between this value and this value. So this is just an in-between value with a weight of 0.1 to, well, to this side. And then of course this is pretty much it. And then what we can actually do, and this is the interesting part, we say, hey, are we having a collision with this pipe? Then we go for room restart. So let's check it out again, because this is the building block of the game. You're having a collision. Let's say, for example, we are jumping and like, we don't do good, and then whop, we restart the room and everything is getting refreshed, and then as you can see, bam. But maybe we don't want to do this. So one way how you could actually make it a little bit different, then you can have like 1, 2, 3 and a few of those objects. But let's make it a little bit smarter. Let's have a spawner, so object spawner 2, put that thing into the room. It doesn't really matter because it's invisible, it's just a spawner. It's a mechanic that is sitting in the background. And what is it doing? Well, it is having an alarm, and this alarm will loop. So this is what I do. I say alarm and go for 0, and let's say 240. Now let's go for every 3 seconds, so something like this. We're having an alarm, so this would be hit. And then, for example, if we are in our alarm, so here we go, and then alarm 0, because, well, we use the index 0, 1. What do we do? First of all, we want to loop it, so loop, so it does run for infinity. So we go for alarm set, which one? 0. Come on, show the tooltip. So you can see you need the index, and then we go for, once again, for 180, or go for a random value, but this is not important for us. What do we actually want to do once we are looping every 3 seconds? Well, we want to create pipes. So we go for instance create layer. Then, well, we need an X and Y position. So the X position, I guess, is quite easy. So let's go for somewhere here. As you can see on the bottom left corner, there are X and Y coordinates. So what is this one? Let's say 1100. So we do something like this, 1100. Then we need a Y position, and this one we for now make static. Later on we will make it, of course, not static. So here, let's say this could be, I don't know, what is this value of 400. And then instances. And what do we want to have? Well, an object pipe. And what you will see now, that we are creating on the same spot the same pipe, which is not optimal. Of course, it's not the best way how to do this, but as you can see, we are looping and we are creating, the spawner is creating our things. But maybe we want to have a specific point. So for example, what we want to have is go away. So we want to have a little bit extra. So we are searching for a point between here and let's say here. So we need to have a range in these kind of parameters. So therefore we just create a variable which I will call center point. And then I say random range. Of course you can go for random range, doesn't really matter in this point. Random range just goes from between two values, and let's say for example we go for let's say, what is this, 40 to, let's go somewhere here, 400. So let's go for 40 and 400. Then we put this one as a center point in here, and what you will see that now we are putting in randomly pipes which are higher or lower. So this one is a little bit higher, this one is a little bit lower, and as you can see, because they are aligned in this specific position, then already we could be finished with our game. But maybe you want to have top pipes as well. For example, if you just want to have bottom pipes, well, this could be finished. So let's say, I guess we already have the collision. Yeah, we do. So here, but what you can actually do, because now, let's say for example we are here at this point, then what we actually want to do is have this one as a center point, and then in between there is an extra range which is going a little bit upwards and a little bit downwards. So let's go for another color, pink. So let's go with pink, and then you need to have a range upwards and downwards, and that could be, I don't know, a value, let's say for 40 or 80 or whatever, because, well, let's face it, you cannot do this too small, then this guy will not fit in. But if you do it too big, then, well, it's no challenge at all, and therefore you need to have a specific value, which of course you need to set up for your game as well. So this one I call then spread. So var, no, that's not what I actually wanted. I just call it var spread, and then let's say I give it a value between 60 and 150. And what do we do? Well, we create then two pipes. So this one is, let's say, the bottom one, and because it's bottom, we go for our center point and say plus, and this one is the top pipe. Therefore we just say, hey, the spread, but minus, because we want to go upwards. So let's check this out. And as you can see, this won't be working too well because we are having the same pipe. And just a little thing, so how can you actually do this the easiest way? Well, I have it aligned as a very specific position. So if this is a top one, I align it at the bottom point, and for example, if it's the bottom pipe, I align it at the top center, as you can see, top center, and therefore it will spawn correctly. So the top, so once again, for example, if you go in here, and if you go in here, oh yeah, so let's take other pipes. So we are having the alignment at this point for the top one, and at this point at the bottom one, and therefore we, well, can make it easier. So just keep that in mind. So what do we do at our spawner? Well, the bottom one already is correctly, but here we need to save, let's call it pipe top, and save the variable in here. And here we don't do too much, we just say, hey, we need to have a different sprite index because we, well, this wouldn't be working. And which one do we want? Well, the top one, bam. And now we are almost finished at 18 minutes. Yeah, this will be 25 minutes like the last time, but it didn't record, so I have to do that again. Sweet. So you can see it already works, and it is pretty sweet. And now what you can do is just change the interval between them, because maybe this bean is too small, or you maybe want to change the speed how this goes, or you want to well, have the center point a little bit more or less, depending how you like this game. So this is up to you, but of course, as you can see, the game is totally random now. So this is the great part, and of course you want to have, but this is of course an optional thing, object pipe clearer, let's call it object pipe clear, give it a sprite, let's go for orange. And what is this? This is just basically sitting somewhere here. Let's stretch it out, and for example, we are just saying, hey, are we colliding with this wall? Then we go instance destroy. What does that actually mean? Well, once we are hitting this wall, then we are destroying the pipe, because, well, we're just spawning all the time instances, and then at some point, if you play like 30 minutes, then you are having a few thousand of them. Not maybe the best idea, so therefore, once they are running to the left and then they're touching this wall thingy here, bye bye. So this is definitely a killer. And of course, maybe you want to have an object wall for the player, so wall 2, because I already have a wall. Let's go for blue, and put that thing on top of here, so we cannot jump out of the room. And we just say to the player, hey, are we touching this wall thingy here? So wall 2, room restart, and we are done. 21 minutes, a little bit faster than last time, but not too much. As you can see, we cannot jump out of the thing, and this is how you restart the game. And well, we are done. 22 minutes in, sweet. That was pretty much it. Hopefully that was a comprehensive guide how you can structure your first game, which is Flappy Bird. Very, very easy. And then of course, if you like, you can make it more difficult. Let's say after some rounds, the speed goes up, the distance becomes smaller, and so on and so on. So you can adjust this game to your liking, and then you basically have your first small little game clone made in 20 minutes or faster if you cut a little bit of my rambling here. So project as usual will be free, graphics are free, everything is free, you can mess around with it, just credit the guy from the graphics. So my stuff, this is not worth for me to be credited at all. So you can have that link in the description below. Have a good one. One up indie.